Welcome to the Coffee Club, broadcasting live from New York with your host, Felix, and co-host, Dr. Mark. So let's have a cup of coffee and enjoy the show.
There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night. No, it's supposed to be Monday night, but we're doing it on Tuesday.
Are you sure?
I guess so.
It's been Tuesday all day?
Yeah.
I thought it was Monday.
We've been trying to do this since Monday.
I thought we went into the Wayback Machine and we wound up going back a day.
We did. We went way back. Way back to a year ago when we couldn't get anything right.
Well, I don't know. It's a year later, and I don't know how much we're getting right this time, Felix.
Doesn't seem like much the way we're going.
Well, you know who we are, folks. We're Felix and Dr. Mark, and we're here broadcasting live.
We are the Coffee Club.
And we're hoping that this show has no technical glitches as we did yesterday. Unfortunately, we didn't realize it until the end when we thought we were putting together a 63-minute show and only 9 minutes plus wound up being recorded. So we humbly apologize, and we know that we have loyal fans out there who were looking forward.
And, you know, we had a whole bunch of people signing into the chat room and logging right out, and I couldn't figure out why. Now we know why. They'd log in, listen to the show, they don't hear anything, and they'd log out. But the best part of that show is that 9 minutes was the best part of the best part of the show. Just was that 9 minutes or so, because the audience did not have to listen to us.
That's true. They listened to a combination of Roadkill Blues, which is one of Felix's favorite songs, a trademark song from back in the Trucking to Heaven days.
That's true, and one of my listeners texted me and he said, you know, we must have been listening to the wrong show because we had some Russian communists talking on your show.
Were you playing that communist propaganda again?
I was playing Vladimir, but that was somewhere in the middle when we went to make a coffee.
You know, the NSA is listening to you. You realize that? You expect to get away with that?
Absolutely.
Boy, oh boy. Talk about having...
Wait a second. I know the right word. Chutzpah.
I don't know.
What is chutzpah, Mark?
Chutzpah? Balls.
There you go.
Exactly. Speaking of balls, did you know that under the weird news, I came across something... goes back about 100 years. Some inventor, even about 100 years ago, you know, men were complaining about ED, erectile dysfunction. And there was a belt that he had manufactured and discovered that you put on, and you'll excuse me, but there was a sack, okay, that you were to put your private parts in. And when you press the button, you got electrical stimulation. You know, it's like one of the earliest supposed cures for erectile dysfunction. I can't speak from experience, so I couldn't tell you. But since we mentioned balls, I just figured I'd bring that up.
Well, that sounds sort of interesting.
It's all part of tonight's show, which is, when does weird news end and the weird news from Congress actually begin? I mean, you know, I believe some of the news in the newspapers, but this past year, you know, Congress is on hiatus now for 5 weeks. And you and I have discussed this on many shows, Felix, the fact that nothing has gotten done. You know, I mean, I have a list of things here that the president tried to get through. He tried to get through political appointments, ambassadorships, tried to get the minimum wage raised. That was blocked. Unemployment, an extension, that was blocked. A jobs creation bill, that was blocked. The fixing of our infrastructure, that was blocked and not funded. And immigration reform, just to name a few, and that was blocked.
All very liberal agenda.
Not really when you think about that the majority of people who are unemployed, it makes no difference whether they're Democrat or Republican.
But the idea
these
of
are,
extending unemployment is a liberal agenda.
But these are people who can't find work. These are people who are in there, for the most part, these are people who are older than the usual age for people who are unemployed.
Do you have the statistics?
No, I don't.
Don't say what we don't know about.
It makes no difference whether you have statistics or not, Felix. You know that. It's a matter of people who are in their late 40s and early 50s to mid-50s whose jobs have either been done away with by robotics or have been outsourced that we'll never see come back, manufacturing jobs, and what are these people going to do? Some of them, it's not always easy to be retrained.
Most of the people who are, from what I understand, who are unemployed are more young than anything else, and they're young blacks. The statistics show they're the highest unemployment rate of anybody.
Well, I'm sorry to say this, but I disagree.
You don't.
You don't think
it's young blacks that have the highest unemployment in the nation?
I think that's a racial statement to make. I think
it's not racial. It's a fact.
I think what you have statistics?
Yes, I've seen them.
Okay, I think basically what it is that people without the proper education, all right, people who are either high school dropouts or just about have a high school diploma, all right, they are competing for jobs that now college graduates are taking because college graduates are just happy to have any job to start out with and get whatever experience they can. But Felix is obviously typing something up here. I think he's going to go to Google and check his statistics. But while he's doing that, let's go over some wild and crazy headlines. For example, in New York today, in New Hyde Park, a woman lost control of her car, crashed into a firehouse, and when the firemen tried to extricate her from the car, they noticed that she had a python wrapped around her neck. Upon further investigation, it was determined that she had stolen this python from a pet store.
And then wound up choking her, huh?
Oh no, that certainly would have been something, but no, But I mean, it's like we're saying, stranger than fiction,
Well, weird news is not fiction. Weird news is always real news.
No, that's not weird. I said it's stranger than fiction. The reality is stranger than fiction.
A lot of times,
that's
absolutely.
What I said.
You're absolutely right. A lot of times it is.
In West Virginia, for example, husband and wife were taking their daily constitutional after the dinner meal, and the wife was wearing a purple nightgown, which was strange enough, but her husband, she was walking with her husband, who was walking on all fours with a leash around his neck, okay, and when they were stopped by the police, she said, this is a turn-on for him. He enjoys this. It's true, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the truth is stranger than fiction.
And what's wrong with that?
I don't see your wife leading you on all fours with a choke collar.
Doesn't make it bad.
It's just strange.
It is
okay?
strange, yes.
It's just strange.
Well, it's true. In the Gaza Strip, when the Israelis were bombing the Muslims, I guess, Hamas was telling them not to disregard the pamphlets that are thrown, disregard the telephone calls they're getting to leave their houses. They even told some of them to go up on the roofs and watch it.
Felix, we're talking about news that's strange. There's nothing strange about that.
You don't think it's strange in telling people to basically go up on the roof and kill themselves?
They didn't tell them to go up on the roof to kill themselves. They told them to go up on the roof and watch.
As the houses get bombed.
Well,
if you're getting a note that says we're going to bomb your house, and then you get a phone call, we're going to bomb your house.
Well, that's not how you explained it to me when you said getting on top of their own homes. You told me they were getting on top of other buildings.
No, their own homes. No, their own homes.
Well.
Not other homes, their own homes. I'm sorry.
Out of New York, 31 years ago, a man sued and won $650,000 from the Transit Authority. Why, you might ask? Well, he notified the Transit Authority ahead of time that he was going to attempt suicide. Well, seems like the note was not taken seriously and didn't trickle down to the right people. So when the man jumped onto the tracks, it cut off his arm and his foot.
You know, he did a lousy
job.
So
he sued them for $650,000 and won.
But he did a lousy job trying to commit suicide.
Well,
looks like he actually tried to get away after he jumped down there. He changed his mind, and he just couldn't do it.
Well, you might be right. You might be right. I mean, I wasn't there. I can't really say.
Oh, neither can I, but I can always speculate.
And how about this one? Also in New York State. New York seems to be the winner today. New York State officials suspended the licenses of 40 professional tax preparers.
What did they do? They didn't pay their taxes?
Exactly.
You got to be kidding
They'll
me.
do your taxes, but they never submitted their own. I mean, stranger than fiction, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I mean, really. Go figure this out. And how about a man who was arrested for drug possession? You know what his name was? This was in Florida. Edward Cocaine.
Edward Cocaine. What was he caught with?
And there was a woman who was arrested, and her name was Crystal Metheny. Crystal Metheny, arrested on drug and gun charges. You know? Again, stranger than fiction. Oh, and you'll love this one. You remember your nursery rhymes? Your Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Well, in July of 20... Well, it says here, yes, July 5th, actually, in Portland, Oregon. A cement statue of Humpty Dumpty at the Enchanted Forest in Oregon. Oh, this was 1970, my bad. Was destroyed by two intruders who climbed up to the wall, and they pushed Humpty Dumpty, who was sitting on that wall, to the ground. The wall crumbled. Humpty Dumpty suffered a great fall, and the person in charge said he doubted that he could put Humpty Dumpty together again. I mean, that's his exact quote, you know. Like all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again, you know. Again, if you have any or know of any of these strange headlines that you would like to share with us, you know,
please,
Felix, I don't think we even told them what our phone number was.
Our phone number is 888-888-888-88.
Oh, that's Celino and Barnes, or whatever it is. The lawyers, you know.
Okay. You
all
can
eights.
Call in at 646-595-3275. And also our chat room is open. But I don't know if there's anybody listening to us live.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yesterday there were a lot of people in there, but all they heard was silence. No, they heard your friend, Vladimir.
Yeah, but that was after they listened to half an hour of silence. I doubt if anybody listens for half an hour to listen to him.
Exactly. Again, in the newspapers, I believe this was in Hungary. Priest was speaking from the pulpit, and he was killed during a sermon. He was struck by lightning while giving a sermon, the Sunday Mass. I guess he must have angered God a little bit because lightning struck, and there he was. And speaking of religion, you know, my daughter and son-in-law live in Ohio, and it seems last year during one of their storms, lightning struck this tremendous statue of Jesus. Okay?
Really?
And they rebuilt it, and now when you pass by, there's this big statue of Jesus with his hands parted about the middle of his body, and you don't know if he's doing a commercial for Subway with the foot-long sandwich or if he's reaching out to greet you, you know?
Well, I definitely don't know.
Well, I don't know.
That's for our esoteric reverend on Friday.
Well, that's when Felix changes his hat. You know, some of our regular listeners might remember that esoteric ministers, they are given the inside track as far as what certain things mean in a religious sense, but most of us are exoteric, which means that we can only absorb so much, and then if Felix tells us any more, he's got to kill us.
Basically, yeah.
You know,
except I don't believe in murder.
It's like Jack Nicholson. You know, we can't handle the truth.
Exactly, but you see, again,
you know, we want you on that wall, and we need you on that wall, but the bottom line is we don't want to hear these things at cocktail parties, you know?
Yeah, well, the problem is, you see, being an esoteric reverend, you're not allowed to harm anybody or kill anybody. So basically what happens if I reveal anything, my tongue gets cut off.
Really?
How about that?
Really? Remember that, folks.
Well, gee, how about
that? Might come in handy someday.
How about that mosque in Philadelphia, where if you get caught stealing, they chop off your arm?
That's right. That's right. If a homeless man was caught stealing from the jar, basically, and if you get caught, before you can even walk out the door to try to escape, they take out a sword and they cut off your arm, your hand. You know, sort of a throwback to the Code of Hammurabi, you know, the old medieval justice. Something very interesting that I read about short people. Now, myself, at one time, I was 5'4", ladies and gentlemen. And I remember when my dad was alive, he said, you know, Mark, he said, when you get older, you shrink.
How much more can you shrink?
Well, that's the whole thing. I was wondering. But I was going in for, an ambulatory procedure. And when the nurse was giving me the physical, she said, I didn't do your height. So I told her I'm 5'4". So I got up there. She says, no, you're not. I said, what am I? And she showed me I was 5'1". I said, wait a second. I'm only 65. I'm not even old enough to start shrinking. If that's the case, what am I going to be when I die? You're going to bury me in a shoebox. You know?
You lost 3 inches.
I lost 3 inches already. My God.
Or were you a little optimistic always about your height?
Well, I was a tad shorter than 5'4", so I would say 5'4", because that's what my wife would say. She says, you're not 5'4", you know. But,
well, same thing with me.
I wish I could lose 3 inches on my waistline the way I lost 3 inches in height.
Yeah, right. Well, it all went down. You got squashed, and everything just came out on your waistline.
The problem is I lost 3 inches someplace else, and I don't want to lose it there either.
You know, imagine like when they see these dolls, you just squash them, and the belly starts coming out.
Like a Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, more than once I had students tap my stomach, you know, for good luck.
Yeah.
But speaking of short people, came across some statistics here, you know. They're always talking about tall people being successful, which, by the way, happens to be true. If a short person and a 6-foot person go in for a job interview, chances are they're going to hire the taller person as opposed to the shorter person.
Well, how about if the shorter person was thin and the taller person was fat?
It might cancel itself out because I don't think, they're into, you got to have the perfect body of a mannequin. That's what you have to do. But some of us might remember the song by Randy Newman, short people. Short people got no reason, blah, blah, blah. All right? Well, I'm sure those older folks like myself remember Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space, first Russian cosmonaut. He was only 5 foot 1 inch.
Because his, what do they call, what is the Sputnik? Is that what they called him?
No, Sputnik was the satellite.
What was the spaceship? I forget. Whatever it was made for monkeys. And he's the only one that's small enough to fit in there.
Well, no, truth be told, he was about 5'7" when he went up. But when he came back, he shrunk about 6 inches. I think it sped up the aging process for him, No, Danny DeVito, my twin brother. Many of my students used to say that I look like Danny DeVito. So I said, he got the talent and I got the looks. And they started to laugh. He's only 5'2". The singer Prince is only 5 feet 2 inches. Former Secretary of Labor Robert Reich under Clinton is 4'10". That I know, that I remember. But how about this one, George Stephanopoulos? If you watch the Today Show every morning, Good Morning America. Good Morning America on Channel 7, or if you watch Sunday this week with George Stephanopoulos. George Stephanopoulos is barely 5 feet tall. He's only a little bit over 5 feet. I could certainly relate to this. And for you sports fans, some of you might remember Spud Webb played professional basketball. I believe it was for the Cavaliers, and he was only 5'6". And then you got Muggsy Bogue. He was 5'3". So, again... Oh, I love this one. A couple sent out divorce announcements. And what they did was they showed a picture of a wedding cake being cut in half, and the husband and wife had guns in their hand, and they were busy shooting at each other. Talk about guns being so prevalent in today's society. Here's one from back in the 50s, a headline from Betty Crocker. It said, "Husbands beat wives," and the small print says, "in baking contests."
Yeah, but did he actually beat her up?
No. And then in strange state signs, here's one from Ontario, Canada. It says, "Welcome to," now get ready for this, Swastika, Ontario, Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Swastika, Ontario, Canada. These are just some strange headlines that are just stranger than fiction. I mean, really.
Well, that's scary. Wonder what they're like over there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, and then, like I said, you have Congress just went home for a 5-week vacation.
Well, they deserve it. They did nothing, and they're going to do nothing now.
You know what it is? It's very hard to do nothing. And appear to look like you've been working all this time, Well, one news organization, was reporting on, Congress wanting to sue President Obama for being a do-nothing president. They suggested that Obama should turn the tables on them and sue Congress because Congress wasn't doing what they were hired for. They were hired to pass legislation.
Listen, nobody in this, everybody's either too far to the left or too far to the right, and nobody, either side's willing to go in the middle. Like Clinton and Reagan did, they were able to go towards the middle.
Well, I remember hearing, Chris Matthews many a time would talk about his days when he worked for Tip O'Neill. And he said Tip O'Neill and President Reagan used to argue every single day, always arguing about something. But at the end of the day, they could get together and go down to the local bar and share a couple of drinks and just talk.
Exactly.
You can't even do that. I mean, now when you have a Republican and a Democrat that is supposed to be on the same talk show, not only do they, they want to be in separate green rooms. They don't even want to be together in the same room.
Well, so saying it's both parties are that way, not just one.
Well, I said both.
Yeah,
there used to be a show on Broadway back in the 70s, My Arm's Too Short to Box with God. And nowadays, the average politician's hands are too short to reach across the aisle and say, let's work together. Let's get something done. But speaking of getting something done, you still have I am out of coffee, so I am taking a little breather here.
When you're out of coffee and you're taking your breathing room, that means we're going to have a little bit of music for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God. Boy, am I glad I'm missing this, folks.
Yes. What should we have? With all these crises going on around here, we'll play a song on peace. Very boring song. So go get your cup of coffee now. Enjoy it.
Take that step and accept that incredible peace that God has for you. Because He says peace, wonderful peace, coming down from the Father above. Sweet power, my spirit, forever I pray.
Peace, ladies and gentlemen. That's what there's really lack of. And again, our phone number tonight is 646-595-3275. And our chat room is open. But I understand today is an off night for our show, so I'm not sure how many people are actually listening live to us because we're not usually on Tuesday nights. But it doesn't matter. As we told you, we made some mistakes in yesterday's show, so we're trying to make it up by putting today's show together, and hope you enjoy it. And I don't know. Dr. Mark, you got anything to say? We're just talking about a little bit about our follow-up yesterday.
What?
And our follow-up yesterday, and I apologize to them.
Well, I think I said everything there is to say about it.
You're right.
Except,
We did. You did, yeah.
You know, the problem is we didn't really know until after the show was over. When we put it on, as we always do, to listen.
It wound up only being 9 minutes, not a minute and 9 minutes, whatever. And you missed probably one of the best.
You're still looking up the unemployment statistics, huh?
But you're talking about probably the best show we ever had, probably yesterday.
Well, unfortunately, the only people who are going to know that is you and me. All we could do is hope that we can somehow, do as close to that as possible today. Now, it's already 9:30. I'll give you our number again. It's 646-595-3275. We urge you, we implore you, if you are listening, give us a call. Try the chat room. I mean, no one has even bothered to even enter the chat room, which was very surprising.
Well, probably people don't even know we're on tonight. That's what I was saying.
Well, I know I did send out a notice to some of my loyal listeners, and I was hoping that they would read their email before doing whatever it is they usually do on a Tuesday evening. And the reason for this show today, I don't know if Felix mentioned it, was that last Monday we canceled our show because it was totally inaudible. We did the show, we put it on, tried to listen to it. You couldn't understand anything. It sounded like Felix was talking a combination of Polish and Russian.
Right. Well, yep.
And I was practicing my sign language. You couldn't even hear me, so the bottom line is we just got rid of it. And one or two people said, "What happened to your show?" So that's why Felix and I said, well, I guess we better do a show today because people are expecting us to do one.
And like you said, better to do a lousy show than no show at all.
The show must go on.
There you go, Mark. Unemployment statistics. Black, young, the highest, almost 40%.
Well, from 16 to 19, sure. Listen, debating. I mean, I just would have left it without saying which ethnic group,
Well, they're the hardest hit. I mean, look at the difference. The whites, who are also higher.
No, the lowest, basically.
Are 20%. Blacks is 40% almost.
The Asian population basically has the lowest unemployment.
No, they're higher. They're not that low.
Between the ages of 16 and 19, they are. They are the lowest. But 20 to 24, 20
to 24, the lowest is whites. Whites, yeah, whites. And, it's 16 to 19, it is the Asian. And
In the summertime, the whites are selling good humor ice cream on the boardwalk. You know, they have their white jackets on and they're pushing a little push cart with the ice cream. I don't know, if I had that job, I'd wind up eating most of my profits.
that's why you got fired, isn't it?
No, that's why I put on all this weight.
Oh,
That's why my diabetic numbers were high.
oh, okay. Oh, did you ever hear from your?
Sleep study? Not yet. Not yet. It's been 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks yesterday, I believe. She said when she gets the report, she will call me. So I don't want to be a pest.
Anyway, ladies.
I inquired, and to no avail. So when I get the result, I'll certainly let you know.
Yeah, just want to make sure you're okay. That that you don't fall asleep during the show or something.
Well, that happened more than once. In fact, who knows? I mean, for all I know, I'm talking in my sleep. I've already been accused of eating in my sleep.
Well, from what I've seen, you perform the best when you're sleeping.
Well, my wife doesn't understand that when you are asleep and you are a sleepwalker, you are not responsible for what you do. Okay? I just got a whole big argument tonight about eating her food, okay, while I'm asleep, yet every doctor that she's spoken to, I went on Google and I showed her the studies, and it says that a person who is sleepwalking is not responsible for what they do when they're asleep.
Well, maybe she doesn't believe you're sleepwalking. That's the problem.
Well,
Could that be it?
I told her to put a camera in the kitchen. If she's not going to lock up the refrigerator, put a camera in the kitchen. I'd love to catch myself doing it. I mean, look. Things that he won't eat. He won't eat cheese. He won't eat certain leftovers that we have. My other son is a cop, and he works midnight shift from midnight until about 8 in the morning. So he's not home. So that leaves my wife and I. Okay?
Well, did you tell your wife you gave me a key?
Excuse me?
Did you tell your wife that you gave me a key that I can sneak in and out meet?
Oh, it was you? I wish you would tell her that, because I'm really getting tired of being blamed for everything in that house. Let me tell you, very upsetting.
I understand, because I feel like I'm always getting blamed for everything. Come to think of it, most of the things are my fault. Forget it. Don't tell that to my wife. Listen, it's a husband's job to take the blame for everything that goes on. That's how you keep a marriage going.
Well, we certainly do, that's for sure.
That's how you keep the marriage going. That's it. That's the end of it. I'm totally convinced of that.
According to my inbox, it says CC Radio Network is live on Spreaker. Somebody forgot to tell me that Spreaker's not working,
Yeah, right? You did. Is that what you said to everybody?
Well, I Spreaker was one of the addresses, screen,
Well, I think
I gave them Blog Talk and I gave them Spreaker.
But I also think that you're a follower in Spreaker, and it comes in Spreaker.
I get the notice automatically.
Even though we don't plan a show, but it tells all the people that the show's on. That's where we get all these nice.
Yes, when it
people.
says that you have one follower after every show, chances are that's me.
Last night for our show that was the non-existent show, we probably had the highest live audience.
That's right. We had 20 live people.
What?
20 actual bodies. Didn't we?
20? What are you talking about? We get more than that in a show that we don't even run.
I'm not sure I follow you here.
You're making us seem like we're little tiny broadcasters here. No better than that. They know we're big-time broadcasters.
Yeah, we're only one step away from being approved by iHeartRadio.
We're on iTunes. We're on TuneIn.
We've been one step away from
We're on SoundCloud. We're on the YouTube.
Yeah, but you're not happy until our heart approves us for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, now we'll get rejected again. Because you're supposed to have at least 50 live listeners.
Well,
I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, like I said, we have been broadcasting for 40 minutes. I don't know about Felix, but I'm all talk about Felix.
Yeah, I think we're done.
You know, I can't say anything more. I'm disappointed that we had one guest come into the chat room.
Yeah, we have one now. Hello, guest, the chat room. Busy in there, isn't it?
Yeah, just one person. Tough to chat with one person, but if you type a question, we'll try to answer you.
Yeah. We'll talk about anything you want.
Yeah, that's one of the things. You know, we've been accused of straying from our topic. You know, we've given you about all the weird news that we looked up. We compared it to Congress, and it's up to you to decide which one is stranger. But, you know, we've always said that when someone asks us a question, we're never going to say that that's not what we're here to discuss. So if you have a question, please, by all means, type it in, and we'll try our best to give you a satisfactory answer. At least before you log out.
Yeah. Well, before we log out.
Well, we're logging out pretty soon, let me tell you.
Well, listen, our phone number again is 646-595-3275.
Boy, Felix, I never heard you rattle off the numbers so quickly.
We are live on a Tuesday night, an off night for us.
Is that why you have so much energy?
I'm all confused. I still thought it was Monday.
Sure it's not Wednesday?
It could be.
Or maybe it's even, you see, we know it's not Friday, because on Friday, we change hats.
That's
okay?
True.
You are the rebellious Rev, and I'm always Dr. Mark.
No, you are the Doc on Fridays.
Right, the rebellious Rev and the Doc.
You don't know how you are. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what show it is.
I'm in bad shape. I really am.
On Friday, you thought you were somebody else.
I don't even know why you partner up with me.
Nobody else. Well, you know.
Boy, we could reminisce, Felix. Do you remember that time when you told me, what do you do on Friday night? And I said, well, I'm a married man. What do I do on Friday night? Nothing.
Come on over.
Come on over, yeah.
I want to show you
something. Why?
something.
What do you want to show me? Oh, you got to come here.
Yeah. Boy.
That's how it all started.
And it's been over a year probably now, I would think.
Oh, I think, yeah, much more than a year. I think it was March or so. Wasn't it around March, February, March or something that you had this brilliant idea?
Yeah, my brilliant idea with, what was the name of that show? Trucking to Heaven. I found out people who are driving their trucks at night have a hard time listening to the internet, starting their PCs and listening.
That's right, and if they listen to us, hopefully we'll keep them awake. You know, since Congress just adjourned for the summer, I think we should find that that song that we used to play around election time. Remember we used to say the people have the power?
Yeah.
I think we should play about 30 seconds of that song to remind people that this is the time that you think about who you want to vote out of office. Okay?
Yeah, I agree with you, except it's not done the way it used to be done. Oh, look at that. We have another guest. How can we end the show now with two guests in there?
Well, as long as they don't say anything, there's no reason for us to stick around.
Yeah, that's true. Tonight's show, for whoever just signed in, is a makeup show for yesterday, which is a normal broadcast night, Mondays 9 o'clock.
That's right, and we had probably one of the best shows we ever had, and we realized that only 9 minutes were recorded or 9 minutes of us were recorded, and then we weren't even talking at the time.
Yeah, we were completely silent. I still but when it was played back, instead of 60 minutes, it was 9 minutes.
You communist, you were playing the 55 minutes of Vladimir Putin.
No, 5 minutes. The whole show's only 9 minutes. Vladimir Putin, man who thinks he's working for God.
I don't know. All I know is that, as I said yesterday, Nancy Pelosi was getting the vapors just looking at his topless body,
Yeah. And what's the one in Alaska? What's her name?
Oh, Sarah Palin?
She has binoculars. She keeps looking for him every night.
Yeah, she could see Russia from her house.
Yeah, she keeps looking for him on his horse.
That's true. Hey, did you hear that she's thinking of having her own radio show? I bet you she gets approved by iHeart. Probably sooner than us.
Well, she has a nice speaking voice.
No, I wouldn't say that. She's just pretty.
And her speaking voice is fine. Compared to mine, it's great.
Well, nothing compares to yours, Felix.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
A cow with a mouthful of hay, or a horse with a mouthful of hay, speaks clearer than you do. That's what I mean.
You know what I got to say to that, don't you?
Here we go, another one of his sound effects.
Yeah.
Which one is this, the toilet?
No, we don't do things like that on the show any longer.
Is this the chicken? Yeah, well, okay, you and your whoopee cushion.
What whoopee cushion? I just recorded myself.
Folks, give me strength. Give me strength, and they don't even pay me enough to do. They don't pay me enough to do the show. All right, if you're gonna do shit like that, I am signing off. Okay, I've had enough.
We've got Dr. Mark rebelling here, and we've got our audience listening to us, and he's abandoning his audience. Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? He thinks we're up to 3 now. He thinks we're how should we put it? A union employee.
I don't care if you got 20 people in there.
How about 40? Nobody can hear you, Mark.
Well, they can pick it up on your mic. Very low. They can pick it up on your mic.
Very unprofessional. How dare you?
That's why I'm broadcasting with you. It is very unprofessional.
You believe this? He takes off his microphone and he's talking more now than he did the whole show. I don't know. Put that headset back on so we can properly.
You gonna give me a raise?
Yeah, but I don't think I can give you a boot that hard. I'll pick you up, Eddie. You're a little too heavy for me.
No, I want a raise. That's what I want.
If anybody's listening to the show right now, and let's take a vote. Does Dr. Mark deserve a raise?
This is like Peter Pan. They have to clap if they believe in fairies, and then Tinkerbell will come back to life. So we want you all to clap, and somehow, in some miraculous way, I'm going to hear all the clapping, and Felix is going to be forced to give me a raise for putting up with him all this time.
The best time you've had in the last year.
Hey, listen, your own wife goes into the bedroom and shuts the door on you because she doesn't want to listen to this.
Yeah, either of us.
And my wife, I say, I'm going over to Felix to do a show, and she goes, ugh,
Okay. You at least my wife hears the show sometimes.
I know, because she has to walk out of the bedroom.
Not willingly, though.
And then we have our 2 sons who don't bother to listen.
You know what I do? I turn on the Spreaker on the phone on my Android while we're driving. and she listens to it.
Oh, you're forcing her.
Absolutely.
She has no place else to go.
Exactly. It works.
A captive audience of one.
Until she takes the phone and throws it at me.
And the sleeping that she doesn't do at night, she does while you're driving, and she's listening to our show.
Yeah. But
Well,
I'll tell you, we've lost some of our most loyal listeners, or callers, actually. We've got...
yeah, we've gone through some changes over the last...
few weeks, actually.
Actually, it's more like a few months.
Yeah. Dr.
Don
has
moved away,
and he promises he'll be back once he's settled.
Yeah, but we never hear from him anymore, and his son had some physical problems.
He got hurt.
You know.
He got hurt. He got stitches.
And then we had a friend of his who we don't hear from anymore, and we had a couple of callers from Montana and Colorado, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Colorado callers from last week. We did have somebody from Colorado.
Well, what's wrong with the Colorado callers from last week?
Or was it Utah? I'm not sure even.
No, Utah. We didn't have
Utah. Okay.
Yeah, Colorado's last week. Ladies and gentlemen,
it was Montana and Utah.
If anybody's listening to this, the reason on a show like this, which is a blog talk show, the percentage of live listeners is minute, maybe 1%. Or probably, something like that. And maybe 1% of that actually call in. So it's very hard to get people to call in on a show like this.
We get a lot of people that listen only because they want to say, they say, what are those two morons going to talk about today?
Yeah, but they do listen, and but they, we get the statistics every week, so we know they're listening. But the percentage of live against those that just listen to the recording is fantastic.
I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen,
10-fold, 20-fold.
Speaking from experience, when Felix started the show, I was only a listener. Okay, I refused to participate. Then all of a sudden, he shoved the mic in my face, and the rest is history. So. You don't know me, and I don't know you, so the bottom line is if I make a fool of myself, I could still walk down the street and be as anonymous as I was when I started.
Well, if they actually look at the show, they'll see your picture. It's right there.
No, my picture's not on the show.
Sure it is.
I think you took that down. That was when we were doing Trucking to Heaven. Well, anyway, folks, like I said,
we're pretty anonymous.
We've been on the air now for 55 minutes, almost an hour, 5 minutes shy of an hour, and seriously, I said this to Felix before. I'm spent. I have said everything that I have to say. There is no way I'm going to continue. All right. I'm going to finish my second cup of coffee, and we're going to listen to the show, and hopefully we'll send it out. For those of you who, obviously, if you're not listening, you don't know that there's a show. But for those followers that I have, I will send it out to them, and it's up to them whether they want to listen to it or not.
Well, most of our audience is an anonymous audience. So we really don't know. We once in a while when we do something a little more outrageous, we had that Christian minister lady call us something. If you remember.
Well, at the very beginning, when we first started on Spreaker as Trucking to Heaven, okay, we had 2 or 3 callers that first day wishing us luck.
Yeah.
What happens is if you friend another show, they will friend you, and they will listen to your show, and sometimes they'll call up and, give us some hints. And it was very nice at the beginning.
Yeah.
But even that ended. And then we came to Blog Talk Radio, expanding, hopefully trying to improve our numbers and the quality of our broadcast.
Well, the biggest problem was the quality. Our numbers have really improved quite a bit.
For the longest time, I kept telling Felix that he needed another microphone, another headset, because he was using some cheap garbage. And, what could I tell you? He finally listened to me.
Yeah, and I bought a $12.99 one, and it's been working fine since.
That's right, and mine cost $13.
Yeah, you overpaid.
Anyway, seriously.
Just to beat me out, you overpaid.
That's right. I did it on purpose. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate those of you who went into the chat room, even if you just listened. For those of you at home who were listening, who didn't bother to call in, we appreciate your, your backing, your support, and Friday night we'll be on with our usual religious show, the Rebellious Reverend the Doc. Topic to be announced, like everything else on this show.
TBA.
But hopefully, and for those of you who are new listeners, we hope that we have in some way grabbed you and enticed you to listen again on Friday and every Monday. We go on at 9 o'clock, and we hope that we have some new listeners.
I wonder if this is... Well, I know on the religious show we do better every time. More people like to listen, to listen to our religious show because we really cover a wide variety of subjects, and we pick no favorites. We're 100% into faith, and as our title says, no evangelists here. We just talk about religion and how people act.
Yeah, but there is that, that advertising at the end where we request donations be sent,
That's
true.
We're
working on another coffee pot because the Keurig just crapped out on us.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see if we get any donations for a coffee cup. But again, donations made to us are not tax deductible. We are not a non-profit organization. Not that we make any money, but we are non-profit, but legally we're not a non-profit.
We couldn't even get a sponsor if we wanted to.
You keep knocking down yourself, Mark. You've achieved so much.
You're right. I knocked myself down 3 inches from 5'4" to 5'1".
You've achieved so much in the past year and couple of months. From a guy who would sit here, refused to get on the microphone, to one that's arguing with politicians on the internet, on the radio. What was that idiot's name? What was that Joe's name?
Well, that's because we promised to send him a donation to his campaign, and we never did.
No, we had people who were campaigning that call us, but they still lost.
Hey, listen, on TV they talk about the cold air bump. Well, this is the CC Radio Network bump, but we're not bumping anybody.
You never know.
Well, according to your colorful clock over there, it says 9:59 and counting. So
also, next Monday, I'm going to announce it now. Next Monday, I will give my economic speech on the prospects of the United States and how I believe things would be if people listened to me and followed my strategies to improve the nation.
Oh, you have a way to get people working again?
Yes.
Are you planning to hire all these people?
No. We will make this government work efficiently. We will be building new highways. We will be doing all different things.
Well, I tell you, you sound like a politician because they said they're going to do all these things, but then they never do it. They don't have a.
Isn't that what a politician is?
Well,
he's walking. He's got another guy behind him walking around with a shovel, cleaning up after him.
Very true.
But I will definitely give you, ladies and gentlemen, my thoughts on how this country should be run.
Well, while the people out there mull over what you're possibly going to say, I am going to wish everyone a good few days, and I look forward to seeing them on Friday. So I am signing off right now. Thank you.
Those are our guard dogs that keep.
Yeah, but you know why they're so vociferous. We forgot to let them in yesterday, so they've been out there all night.
You're right.
And they haven't eaten. So
but please don't talk like we're vociferous. I have no idea what vociferous means. Would you
vociferous.
Huh?
Vociferous.
Vociferous? No, my bone isn't stiff.
Don't be so belligerent. And bellicose. Those are 3 SAT words. Look them up.
Wait.
All right,
you have to tell me how to spell them first.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening. We enjoyed having you tonight. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We had so many people.